Good evening and welcome to Election Night 2025 as we begin special coverage of this consequential night. I'm Brian Taft. The polls have just now closed in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and in both states we're following races that could reverberate clear across the country. This is the first election since President Donald Trump won his second term, and while he's not on any ballot today, for many his policies and persona very much are. I want to get back briefly to that race that we talked about 20 minutes ago, that Pennsylvania State Supreme Court retention question. Incredibly unusual for a question like that, or really any issue regarding the state Supreme Court, to get so much attention, not just within the state, but national attention and so much funding. We've talked about that now. We're joined now briefly by Professor of Political Science John Kennedy from West Chester University, who's been great at helping us educate our audience on this topic, and we certainly appreciate that. Professor, I guess my question to you is, for those who are just tuning in now and maybe don't know quite enough about this, with respect to this question and what it means for not just the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but the ramifications outside of the state, how do you explain that?
Well, I think, and thanks, I'm glad to be here, Brian. As some of your previous guests have mentioned, the fact that $20 million or upwards of $20 million is being spent on an election, which historically has been a sleepy affair that garnered very little attention, and the incumbents generally win by 75% of the vote, tells us a lot, not just about Pennsylvania in this election, but also about the state of the nation. And again, as some of your previous guests have mentioned, the heightened polarization that we have today. Whether you like it or not, we're kidding ourselves if to some degree this isn't a referendum on the current administration in Washington, which is is always the case, at least to some degree, of course, as far as the year after the presidential election. The party out of power finally has a chance to, get some revenge and go to the polls and take out their anger. And the party in power gets to try to preserve what they have. So but there is much more intensity today on this election. It means a lot as far as Pennsylvania is concerned. It means a lot as far as issues such as environmental issues, abortion rights. It means a lot, certainly going forward nationally, when you look at the issue of gerrymandering, redistricting. If these three judges are retained, then it means the Democrats will control the process after the 2031 census. So the stakes are big, not just for Pennsylvanians, but also nationally.
I've got just about 30 seconds left, and we know what would happen, obviously, if the answer is yes to retain these judges, they stay on the bench. But just from a practicality perspective, what if the answer is no, and those three judges are basically rejected? What happens next? How does that play out
quickly,
now?
Sure, they would have to step down, and the seats we would essentially have a 2-2 Supreme Court, Democrats to Republicans. Governor Shapiro would be able to appoint interim, but of course, with the Republican state Senate, that's highly unlikely. So the odds are those seats would stay vacant until the next odd year elections, which would be 2027, when we would have a contest for all three of these seats between a Democratic and Republican. Again, it's only happened once since the retention process was enacted in 1968. It happened in 2005. Justice Nigro was defeated, but that was for not ideological reasons. He just was in the wrong place at the wrong time after the legislature had given itself a pay raise at 2 a.m. in the morning. Voters were angry, and again, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This is the first time we've ever had a concerted effort for political, ideological reasons to defeat incumbent judges in the state.
Well, what a great resource for us you are, John Kennedy. A great name and great perspective. Thanks for joining us tonight. Much appreciate that. We'll talk to you down the road.